let's take a look at number 17. All right, so for number 17, they had us, they gave us this graph. And the directions were find the rate of change, and then say what the rate of change means. So Nick, to find rate of change is slope, correct? So how do I find rate of change on a graph? Anyone? How do I find rate of change on a graph? Chris, sit up. All of you need to answer this question. How do I find rate of change on a graph? Matthew? Yep, so find 2 points. I can find any 2 points. Let's use maybe this one and maybe this one. We're looking to see where our line crosses grid lines. Once I find 2 points, then what? Yep, so my slope is rise over run. All right, so Nick, I'm going to start here. I need to pay attention to my increments though. What am I counting on my y-axis by? 2's. So this is 2, 4. So I went up 4. What am I counting on my y-axis by? 10. So this is 10, 20. I don't know what to tell you. You have to pay attention to the increments. Does that help you? And then do that division. All right, so on a graph, you have to pay attention to what the increments are. I don't know what else to say. All right, what else can I do for you guys from the homework? Really? Yes. Can I go over what, sweetie? Yes, thank you. So 6.2, 1 through 8, I said equation only. Huh. Well, that's not really the direction, so that really doesn't make sense, does it? So for 1 through 8, we really did need to find the slope and the y-intercept. All right. So for the first one, my slope and my y-intercept. What's my slope for number 1? What's my slope for number 1? Ashton? What's my y-intercept? What's my y-intercept? 0, 2. All right. On the second one, what do I need to do with the second one? So for number 2, I have y plus 3 is equal to negative 1/3 x. For me to figure out the slope and the y-intercept here, what do I have to do? Chris, what do I have to do? I do. So what am I going to do to get that y alone so everything's on the same side? Excellent. I'm going to add a negative 3. So I get y equals negative 1/3 x plus a negative 3. Now someone tell me what's my slope. Sam, what's my slope? No. Hi. Excellent. Ava, will you grab Kaylee's stuff and just kind of put it together for Mrs. Regenta, please? Thank you. Sam, try again. You're welcome. Try again. Negative 1/3. All right, Sam, what's my y-intercept? Nope. Yes, 0, negative 3. Please make sure that you're writing those y-intercepts. Thank you so much. That you're writing those y-intercepts as a coordinate point. Everyone look at your paper right now and see, did I write that as a coordinate point for my y-intercept? All right, because you have to. All right, how about number 3? What's my slope and what's my y-intercept? Jacob? Negative 1. Excellent. Number 4. What's my slope and what's my y-intercept? Oh, what do I have to do to number 4? So let's do number 4. So if I take a look at number 4, I have y minus 3/5 times x is equal to negative 1. What do I have to do to number 4 to determine my slope and my y-intercept? Peter? Yep. I'm going to add a 3 over 5x to both sides. So I get y equals 3/5 x plus negative 1. Someone tell me, what's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Come on, you guys. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Matthew? Excellent. 0, negative 1. For number 5, what's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Colin, what's my slope? What's my y-intercept for number 5? Excellent. How about number 6? What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Serena? Excellent. So I'll get y is equal to 2x plus negative 3. So what's my slope and what's my y-intercept from there? Awesome. How about number 7? What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Nick? Yeah, let me zoom in a little bit. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Excellent. Put it as a coordinate point, please. 0, 3. How about number 8? What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Once you adjust it, what's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Blythe? No. I need to get the y alone. So I'm going to add a negative 1/3 x to both sides. So I end up with y equals, remember I want to get that y term alone. I'm not looking to get the x alone, I'm looking to get the y term alone. So here's my new equation. So what's my slope, what's my y-intercept? Excellent. All right, you guys cool with that? All right, let's take a look at number 37. So everyone take a look at number 37. Chris, sit up. Everyone take a look at number 37. All right, 37 has given us this graph. The directions were, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line. What do I need to do that? Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line. What do I need to first do to start doing that? What do I need to write a slope-intercept equation? What are the 2 things I need to write a slope-intercept equation? Charlotte? The slope and the y-intercept. How do I find my slope? How do I find my slope from a graph? Isabella? From a graph, what's the easiest way to find the slope? Rise over run. So my slope is always rise over run on a graph. Somebody go out and point out 2 points for me that I can use to find my rise and my run. Blythe, which points do you want? Go up there and point to them. Okay, so this point here, where else? So these 2 points right here. Anywhere that our line crosses grid lines. So my rise, I'm going to go up. I'm counting by 1, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go up 3, and I'm going to go back, go to the right, 1, 2, 3, to the right. So my slope is 1. Where's my y-intercept? Where's my y-intercept up there, Colin? Yeah, it's right here, 0, 3. It's where our line crosses the grid line. So somebody write my equation for this. Chris, sit up. Be engaged in this. Be willing to answer a question here, sweetie. I found my slope. I found my y-intercept. Somebody write an equation for this. I'm giving you this on a homework quiz coming up very soon, so I suggest you're all paying attention. Jacob. Yep, y equals x plus 3. That's what I should see. What other questions do you guys have from the homework? Okay, put this away, get your notes out. All right, we are moving on. We're jumping into the rest of 6.2. All right, so today is 3.9, 6.2 continued. All right, and we're still dealing with slope-intercept form. All right, so last week we talked about writing equations in slope-intercept form. All right, let's talk about graphing. I think we touched on it a little bit, but let's talk about graphing slope-intercept form. Let's talk about graphing slope-intercept form. All right, I'm going to do an example to the left, and I'm going to give you your steps to the right. I feel like we've talked about this already, but I want to make sure we all understand it. You guys all need your rulers out. All right, every single day you come in here for this whole chapter, you guys are having your rulers out. So please get your rulers out. Okay, when we have slope-intercept form, remember the two things I need are my slope and my y-intercept. All right, so my first thing I would do is I'm always going to identify slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to identify slope and the y-intercept. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So someone tell me, what's my slope for this equation? What's my slope? Victoria? 3. What is my y-intercept? Victoria? Not just -1. It's a coordinate point. What's my slope? Yep, 0, -1. Remember, it's just not the b value. Colin, I haven't started anything yet, so you're going to wait for me. And you're taking all the notes that I'm taking. Is that graph paper or is that regular paper? You may not take notes for this at all on regular paper. Where's your graph paper notebook? You had an entire weekend to solve that problem. You're not taking notes while we're graphing on regular paper. So figure out a solution to this problem. And Colin, I want to see a graph paper notebook tomorrow. You had all weekend to get it. So let's go. Figure it out. So you're making Matthew take paper out of his because you decided not to go get any. Is that kind of where we are right now? Yeah, that's nice. No, that was nice. Not nice of you. It was nice of him. It's not nice of you. All right. The second thing we're going to do is you're going to graph the y-intercept. So I want you guys to graph the y-intercept. So you're getting your coordinate plane out. All right, you're putting increments on your coordinate plane. So you graph your y-intercept. So it's 0, -1. So here's my y-intercept. The next thing you are going to do is you're going to use slope. That's your rise over your run to find 2 more points. How many of you guys remember us doing this before? Okay, we've talked about this before. to find 2 more points. So I'm going to do this in a different color so you guys can see this. My slope is 3 over 1. 3 is my rise, 1 is my run. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. I have to see that slope work. So this right here is my slope work. That slope work is required. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. How many of you guys remember us doing that before? Awesome. And then the last step is draw the line. You guys cool with that? Questions on that process? Okay. So I'm talking story problems. Alright, so when we talk about slope-intercept form, what are the 2 key things we need for to write a slope-intercept form equation? What are the 2 key things we need to write a slope-intercept equation? Chris? Excellent. 2 key elements to write a slope-intercept equation. That's our slope, which is our m, and our y-intercept, which are 0, comma, b. Okay. Keep that in mind. All right. Let's talk about what slope is. All right, because we're going to be talking about story problems, and you have to be able to identify in a story problem what the slope is. And you have to identify in a story problem what the y-intercept is. Who needs to see what's up there? Oopsie. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Who needs to see what's up there? Okay. So when we talk about slope, slope is a rate. So in a story problem, slope is a rate. All right, an example might be $10 per hour. All right, slope is a rate. Your y-intercept, this is a one-time cost. It's an initial fee. It's a starting amount. That's what a y-intercept is. Okay. Now in your homework tonight, they're going to have you graph these. All right, they've already given you the equation, but I'm not letting you off the hook. I'm making you guys write these equations from these story problems. Okay, so let's take a look at a story problem and then we're going to graph it. Okay, so here's my example. So let's say you are joining a gym that charges you $40. Come on, you're writing this down. To join. Then $10 per month to use the gym. So you are joining a gym that charges you $40 a month to join, or $40 to join. than $10 per month to use the gym. I want you to write a slope-intercept equation modeling this situation. All right, and then we're going to graph the equation, and then we're going to use the equation. So we're going to graph the equation. How many of you guys see a rate up there? How many of you guys see a rate up there? Serena, what's the rate that you see? There is your slope. What else do you notice that they've told us? What else do you notice, Nick? Yeah, here's our initial fee. That is an initial fee. What is that then, Nick, if it's an initial fee? That is our y-intercept. There is our v-value. All right, so now I know that I can. Do you have a question that I need to answer right this second, or can I finish? Thank you. So I know I have my slope. I know I have a y-intercept. Because of that, I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. I don't need a game plan because this format takes the place of a game plan. So somebody write my equation for me. Go ahead, Jacob. Excellent. Questions on writing that equation? Okay. Yes. I mean, they may have you write the equation and then just say what would the total cost be for any number of months. They might use it. Yeah, they might have you use it, yes. So there's a situation that you're going to write it and then use it, or there's a situation where you might write it and graph it and then use the graph. Okay, so let's graph this. Sometimes graphing these can be the hard part. All right, so when we're graphing, all right, well, first of all, I need to know what x stands for and I need to know what y stands for. I should have done that when we wrote our equation. What information does x stand for here? If our rate is $10 per month, what does x stand for? Chris? Number of months? Yep, number of months. What does y stand for here? I have my cost per month. I have $40 to join. So what does y stand for here? Charlotte? That's our total cost. Okay. So when we're graphing, the hardest part here is coordinating between the y-intercept and the slope. All right, our slope is 10. Our y-intercept is 0,40. All right, so what you need to make sure you're doing is you need to coordinate your increments so you can graph your y-intercept and use the slope. So you've got to be really careful when you're choosing here. The nice thing about our equation is that our slope is 10, our y-intercept is 40. 10 is a factor of 40. So that makes things a lot easier. All right, so you need to coordinate your increments so you can graph your y-intercept and use your slope. What is the only quadrant I need to graph here and why? What is the only quadrant I need to graph here and why? Peter? The top right. Why the first quadrant? Yeah, I'm only going to have positive numbers. I'm only going to have positive months. I'm only going to have positive total cost. So I'm going to go ahead and start graphing this. All right, so I'm going to do my x and my y. Here's my x, here's my y. Chris, you're doing this as I am. My x is my number of months. Always label this so people can read your graph. My y is my total cost. Well, my 10 is my slope. That's like 10 over 1. My rise is 10 My run is 1. So I'm going to count on my x-axis by ones because I have a run of 1. All right, I need to graph 0, 40, and I need to be able to use my rise of 10. What should I count on by my y-axis? What should I count by? So I can graph my 0, 40, and I can use a slope of 10 over 1. Jacob? Yeah, I would say 10s. So 10, 20, 30, 40. Here's my 40. I'm going to put a couple more of them on there. I'm going to go up 10 to the right 1. Up 10 to the right 1. So you really do need to pay attention to what you counted by. My slope is a rise of 10, but I counted by 10, so I'm only going up 1 increment. Now, my line starts at that 40. It doesn't go to the left of it at all, because I can't have negative values. And then it goes through those 2 points and beyond. Questions on graphing that? All right, so what I want you guys to do is I want you to use the graph to find total cost of 5 months. Now, I could use the equation, but now that I've made the graph, it makes it much easier for me to do this. So, go to 5 months on your x, so 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my 5 months. I'm just going to read up to my graph, and then I'm going to read over to the graph of my line. I'm going to read over to my y. So what is the approximate cost? Here is where that 5 hits. What's the approximate total cost of 5 months? You're going to read it across. So 50, 60, 70, 80. Here's 80. Here's 90. So someone tell me, what would you estimate the cost to be of 5 months? Serena? Dude, it's between 80 and 90. Serena, I'm reading 5 up to my line, and then I'm reading over. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Here is where it comes over and crosses my y-axis. Do you see this right here? This is 80. This is 90. So, what would this approximately be? 85. I would say about $85. That's how you would use that graph. So if you were somebody that was looking to convince your parents that you could afford to do this, the total cost after going to college, and you've got however many money to spend on it, you could use this graph and figure out how many months that you can afford. All right, you guys can go.